What's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome to Statistics 135, now reborn on the internet and into our new reality. I think I was mentioning to some of you right before spring break that it's very likely that you will be asked by your grandchildren someday what this time in history was like, perhaps as part of a book report or some kind of interview project for school that they have to find out. This is a very, very unusual time in history. The last time we had some kind of an outbreak like this, I'm sure many of you know, is the influenza outbreak that took place over 100 years ago. So not even your grandparents can recall what this time was like. This is very, very historic, very, very unusual, and it'll be interesting to see exactly how we handle things. But let's talk about how we're going to handle statistics class for the next few weeks or so. First of all, let me switch back here to the screen and start you off here with, I have this video here. This is from a famous musical of a few years ago called High School Musical. They're about to sing something, We're All in This Together. I didn't want to play the sound, probably for copyright reasons here, but it is true, we are in this together. I'm going to be online for most of the day, most of the time. You can see my schedule is going to be sitting here on the left. I'm going to stop that now. That's enough of that. But I'll be sitting, I'll be really online available to you basically from 8 o'clock in the morning up until noon, and then from 1 to 2 in the afternoon, and that's Monday through Friday. I have another class in Fort Collins at Front Range that I have to be working at, and so I'm available there from 2 to 4. But hopefully you can see here that I'm modeling an effective technique for setting up a schedule for how you're going to be doing here. And as we're going to talk later on, that's something you're going to have to be doing yourself as well. You're going to have to set your own schedule. This is part of the process of doing a class that's online. This schedule is going to be downloadable at D2L. I think you're probably well aware right now that we're using Zoom to communicate, and that's going to be true not only for your other classes but also me as well. So I've got my link here for getting on to Zoom. I'm going to also make that available at D2L, and as I mentioned before, my availability is going to be Monday through Friday, 8 to noon, and then 1 to 2. Here's what our schedule looks like now for long term. Let me actually get rid of my picture here so you can see this. The schedule, of course, has the last 2 weeks blacked out of it, and we've had to make some adjustments accordingly. But as you can see, we still have one exam left plus a final exam. I'm sorry that it's taken me so long to come up with a plan for you. I know that you've probably been sitting for the past 2 weeks in spring break, hopefully having a chance to rest and relax and enjoy yourself for a little while, but probably also wondering what's going to happen with this class as we come back. Please know that I have been working very, very hard on figuring out exactly how to do this. I'm doing this for the first time. I've posted videos on YouTube, but I've never created an online course before. It's especially difficult for a new instructor at a new school, and one who, although I've done videos on YouTube before, I've never actually done an online course before, and most instructors are given an entire summer to develop an online class. Part of the stress that you've seen with a lot of instructors is that we've had 1 or 2 weeks basically to do the same thing for all of our existing classes. So not an easy thing to do. I have been working hard to get some good content out to you and figure out exactly how we're going to be doing this. I also had to take some time to figure out exactly how I'm going to be doing some things perhaps a little differently in response to the disappointing results that I saw for many of you on exam 2. We'll talk about that more next week as we're going through it. Some people haven't taken exam 2 yet, and so I want to make sure that they have a chance to take it too before we go through our discussion of it. Okay, now my PowerPoint's locking up. Okay, I think that was a little bit much. Here we go. Here's how we're going to be managing our routine. Essentially, one of the things that I've been told, based upon the data here, is that The worst thing I can do as an online instructor is to give you all of this stuff that needs to get done, and all of it's due Sunday night at midnight, and what that tends to result in is students not doing a whole lot of work throughout the course of the week, and then all of a sudden Sunday night they're trying to cram all this stuff in, and the quality of the learning just does a nosedive, and it's just not a very good experience for anyone involved. What has been suggested instead is that I break up the learning into a lot of little pieces, and each little piece has got a deadline to it. And so you can see this is actually from a different class that I've done this sort of thing before. I'll be dividing things up into modules, and a module is just a section of the textbook, and it's going to be entitled according to when everything is due. And really, inside the module is going to be a to-do list of everything that you have to do by midnight on the day that's described here. So basically, it'll be this due date, get this stuff done. And so hopefully that will organize things effectively and will allow you to really go through the content in a way that's consistent, in a way that keeps you engaged and involved, and hopefully facilitates success as much as possible. And so here's kind of the routine that we'll be going through, how we're going to be executing this. Really, we have about 2 days to cover each module. And so on day one, there's going to be a video that I create for you with an activity sheet, much the same kind of thing that I've been doing with you for the past few weeks or so in class. I've handed something out to you while I go through stuff in PowerPoint. That's going to be pretty much the exact same kind of thing. It's just that you're going to be downloading it from D2L, and you're going to be watching the video of me doing the same kind of thing. One of the things I'm going to do to facilitate this actually being done is there's going to be a quiz that I'll have for you to do. It's going to be a pretty straightforward quiz for anybody who's actually done the video and the activity sheet. It's going to be questions like, what's the answer to problem 7 and what's the answer to problem 4? So if you have watched the video and have done the activity sheet properly, then you'll be able to do that quiz very, very easily. That'll get you set up here for the first class discussion, the class discussion that we have for that day. And really at the end of that class discussion, then we'll be starting on the homework. And the homework is due the next night, essentially at midnight. We'll have another chance for a class discussion on the next day, and then after the homework is due, there's also going to be a homework quiz that I do for you. This is actually in response to some suspicions that I've gotten based upon the exam results that I'm not sure people are effectively doing their homework. I think most of you are, many if not most of you are, but I'm getting suspicious that some of you have not been doing that effectively or appropriately. And so what I'm going to do is, within all of the odd problems that you're going to be doing on the assignments, much like you were doing before, and from which you can find answers, I can provide answers for you. I'll have 3 or 4 problems that I won't give you the answers to, and you'll have to submit what those answers are on a homework quiz. It'll be like a Google form or something that you just fill out. Here's the answer to problem 6, here's the answer to problem 8, here's the answer to problem 10, and it'll be up to 4 questions or so. It's just basically, it's my way of testing whether or not you're really putting in the effort to do the assignment and whether or not it's really your work, and based upon your own mental cognition rather than just copying down the answers or copying something from somebody else, heaven forbid. Once that's done, you'll be essentially now preparing for the next classroom discussion the next day, and that's going to be involving a video and an activity sheet, and also a quiz that comes with that. That's going to be our routine. It's going to be pretty active, pretty involved. There's going to be a lot of accountability on a day-to-day basis that takes place. That's the best way that I know to make it so that you succeed and succeed brilliantly as we're doing this in this online forum here. Let me actually hide myself here as we're doing this. This is, I'm sure you've gotten some feedback from your other instructors as well, some suggestions to this. This is, let me just be straight with you here. You're being asked right now to essentially assume the culture of a college student right now. One of the things that I think if you talk to most college students, you will find that there isn't so much of a shock in terms of difficulty of class in going from high school to college. There's some, but there isn't so much of a shock. The real shock that comes from going to high school to college is the fact that you're completely on your own, so to speak. You're pretty much asked to approach school as an adult. You're getting yourself up in the morning. Your mom and dad isn't getting you up in the morning. You're figuring out when to go eat. You're figuring out when to do your laundry. You're figuring out when to go get groceries for yourself. You're basically taking care of yourself and managing yourself, and that requires some maturity. That you watch some freshman students rise to the challenge very, very well, and you see others, well, eventually about 90 to 95% of us eventually get to that form of maturity, but some of us more quickly than others. And so you are really being asked to, hate to put it this way, but to grow up very quickly as you're doing this. And so one of the ways in which you do that is to set yourself a daily planner, much like what I have just shown up here. I just pulled this very quickly off of Pinterest of all places. Find something like this that you can fill in on a day-to-day basis. This is something that I was doing really even in junior high and high school, and it helped me out extensively. I made a list of what all my homework was for every single class. I didn't have a schedule like this, but I made a list of, I went through each class. What am I supposed to do here? What am I supposed to do there? And that helped me out substantially in making sure that I didn't forget anything and that I did everything well. Even as I was working on my PhD, I was able to pretty much keep that process as a 9-to-5 job, essentially. And it left open the evenings for me to relax, to interact with family, to do chores and all that sort of stuff. So make yourself this kind of a daily planner for yourself and include some things. In addition to school and classwork, set aside some time for family time and chores, hobby time, exercise, even taking a walk. This is, I got to tell you, I worry a lot about the mental and psychological health of a lot of people right now who are cooped up in their houses. That makes people crazy over time, especially when they're just surrounded by screens for a long period of time. Get outside and take a walk. You're not going to get in trouble for just taking a walk or going to a park, even going up to some places like Lorry State Park or up in the mountains or something like that, taking a hike. We're still allowed to do those things even in this time here. Also make some time for free time as well as good sleep. I'll level with you all here. I'm usually in bed by 9:30 or 10 at night. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's actually true. At 9 o'clock, we kind of have a strict schedule in which at 9 o'clock the screens go off, and I'm not in front of my computer or watching anything on Hulu or YouTube or anything like that. I'll maybe pull up something on my phone that is audio only. Maybe it's music, maybe it's listening to somebody, but part of this is the screens go off because that light in your eyes will interfere with your sleep patterns. And I don't know if you've ever been told this, but I'm sure you've been told many, many times by various health teachers that your body is in the process of changing right now as an adolescent. I won't get into that too much. I'm sure you all know what that's about. But perhaps what I notice is not told of teenagers as much as is necessary is that means that you actually need more sleep than adults do. Those changes in your body require your body to rest a little bit more. You've heard that most people require 8 hours of sleep. For teenagers, believe it or not, that's actually closer to 9 or 10. There's a reason why during summer times you're sleeping until noon. There's a reason why on the weekends you're sleeping really, really late. Your body is genuinely needing that. And so make sure that you make your sleep schedule just pretty regimented. This is a chance for you to self-manage yourself very, very well. And quite honestly, this is a sign of maturity. So rise to the challenge here. How do you know if you're mature enough to be able to face a college class in this kind of college environment? Very simple. Decide that you are. There isn't any magic fairy that comes out the night before your 18th birthday and taps you on the shoulder and says you're ready for adulthood. That just comes from generations and generations of young people stepping up to the plate, pulling the sword out of the stone, so to speak, and saying, I'm ready. I'm going to try and serve as best I can. I'm going to make mistakes along the way, but I'm going to make things happen as best as I possibly can. All right, here's some etiquette for being online here. First thing, keep yourself focused on class. Do not multitask. This is not a time for you to be you to have statistics open in one window and Hulu on another and YouTube on another and Netflix on another and Facebook on another and text messaging on another and a chat room on another, and you're doing battle with the snake queen in the cave of such and such using the amulet of so and so, and you're catching statistics on the side. You will fail if you try to do it that way. You will be frustrated. You will not do well. You will be unfortunately disappointed. So do not multitask. Probably the closest thing that you can do is have some music. Music, I think, is okay, just as so long as it's engaging music, not distracting music. Usually music that doesn't have any lyrics to it, doesn't have any words to it, and it's music that you can get some energy from, but effectively tune out enough so that you're really continuing to focus on what's going on in class. Also, keep yourself free from home distractions. You can actually have it on the next slide here. It's sort of a class in progress do not disturb sign that you can put on your bedroom door, your office door, however you want to do this. I actually have something up on my door right now. I'm recording in process, so please don't disturb me. So this is a part of the process here. Also, I'm figuring out exactly what this is going to be like. I'm not sure what the culture is going to be like when we go online together, but for now I'm going to say keep yourself muted and type any questions you have into the chat box, and I'll be continually monitoring this and address any questions that you've got as they come up. So I'll do my best to manage that as well as possible. I'm thinking, if that works out pretty well, perhaps I can try unmuting all of you, but I'm really concerned that there's a lot of extraneous noise going on, that somebody's little brother or little sister in one window is going to be really, disrupting the entire class. As adorable as those younger brothers and younger sisters are, we don't want that to be disrupting what's going on here in class. So for now, I'm thinking just keep everybody muted and to type your questions into the chat box. Here's the example class in progress sign that is just on this PowerPoint slide. You can print this off. This PowerPoint is going to be made available to you on D2L, and you can just print off this slide and place it on your door when it's time to be working on schoolwork. Grading is pretty much the same as it was before. Exams are still 50% of your grade. Final exam is worth 20. Homework and participation each worth 15%. The letter grade scale is exactly the same as before, 90s are A's, 80s are B's, and so on. But here's how things are changing a little bit here. And let me, first of all, get rid of myself here on the screen. Homework will now be given as a PDF on D2L. It's actually always been available to you as a PDF in D2L. I've just also each time handed it out to you in class. Now you'll just have to download it, or at least be able to view it on D2L and do the problems accordingly. And like I said before, that the homework is due at midnight of the module due date. That folder you're going to see up there, you're going to see what that due date is, and so it's due that midnight. So make sure that you're working on it, long before midnight, certainly, as you're getting that done there. You can submit your homework. I just wanted to make it so that you had multiple ways to do this here. A Word document emailed to me is fine. We've worked a little bit in Google Docs. That's a little different. We've also done Google Forms. You can do Google Forms as well, or Google Docs. You can also do written homework scanned to a PDF and emailed to me. I'm not sure whether or not all of you have scanners, so I want to be respectful of that. You can also do your written homework and then photograph it on your phone and then have that picture emailed to me. So I just want to make every possible avenue available to you to be able to communicate with me the completion of your homework. Here's something that I've added here. I think I've mentioned this. In addition, there's going to be a homework quiz. This will involve submitting answers to up to 4 even problems from the same problem set through a Google form. So you're just going to go on the Google form. It's going to ask you what's the answer to problem 12, what's the answer to problem 14, and you'll just type it into the box, and that gets sent to me. so that I can see really how you're doing when it comes to all these problems. Lastly, the homework quiz, also due at midnight of the module due date. So, and hopefully that's not going to be an issue because you'll finish those problems alongside of all the other problems that you're doing and that you're taking a picture of and sending to me. So they're just all part of the same homework assignment. So suffice it to say, those homework problems are just all due at midnight of the module due date. Participation. Here's how I'm gauging whether or not you're actually participating in class. To receive a full participation grade for the day, you must, number one, have a visible presence at the Zoom meeting. In other words, I have to be able to see you in at least in a window, maybe not see your face like seeing it here, but maybe there's an avatar for you or something like that I can see, but I can see you clearly dialed in. And here's how I know that you're paying attention instead of going on Facebook. You must ask at least one relevant math-related question in the chat box. So you have to type something in that reflects the fact that you're engaged with math. That's about as much as I can do to make sure that you're not only here in terms of clicking on a link, but also here cognitively, mentally, and energetically. So hopefully that's enough to facilitate the kind of behavior that I want to have happen naturally anyway, and also model an effective technique for you in your other college classes going forward. Meanwhile, I am missing you all very, very much. I am thinking about all of you very, very much. Be well during this time. Take care of yourself. Like I said, get plenty of sleep and exercise. Exercise, very, very important as well. Our culture doesn't teach this very, very well. We think our bodies are just here to get our minds to the next class or get our minds to the next meeting. As it turns out, mind and body are intertwined, and if you take care of one, it actually helps out the other. So get plenty of sleep, get plenty of exercise. Let me know if there are any technical issues that you're running into, or if there are family plans that come up. My family is going to such and such place. Can we work on that? I'll do my best to try and work with you on some of those. Also, let me know if you've tested positive for COVID-19. And let me know if there's anything I can do to sort of be there for you and to listen to what that's like. I'm sure also the other staff here would also appreciate knowing that as well, so they can support you as well. Lastly, for this Monday, watch the video for the normal distribution. That's going to be coming up very, very soon. Taking notes on the activity sheet that I give you. All this is going to be up on D2L. Also download and print the activity sheet for Tuesday's in-class discussion. Download and print the assignment sheet and do on it what you can. We have 2 in-class discussions to go through any of the problems that you have questions on. And also have the link handy for my Zoom meeting, and click on it a few minutes before class on Tuesday. So hopefully that's good enough to get us going at least for next week. And I'm looking forward to seeing at least small TV-sized versions of each one of you come Tuesday. Looking forward to it. See you then.